The defining attitude of the 2010s was not giving a fuck. Kanye West's polarizing album, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, kicked off the theme of this decade. An album all about excess, glamour, and wealth, and especially its corruption.
I'm living in that 21st century, doing something mean.
Bill Cosby.
Do it better than anybody you ever seen. Good evening.
May 2nd, 2011, President Barack Obama, aka my biological father, announced that Osama bin Laden, founder of Al-Qaeda, was shot and killed. It didn't matter that there was no visual record of the body, and the Navy SEALs apparently dumped the body in the ocean like coke dealers. Americans were jumping around in the streets like chimps. On March 15th, Donald Trump announces his plan to run for president during a roast for Comedy Central. You might remember 2012 for the Olympics, but most people remember this year because some ancient Mexicans predicted the end of the world. People were sheltering their homes, preparing for the apocalypse. This is also the year Americans became comfortable with mass shootings. In July, in a Colorado movie theater, 11 people were killed during a screening of the third Batman film. And on December 14th, when my mom picked me up from school, she told me a couple dozen first graders were killed in a school called Sandy Hook. Then we ate dinner and watched Batman on Blu-ray. In 2013, on April 15th, over 260 people in Boston were hospitalized from a bomb while running the annual marathon. 2014 was especially tragic if you're Brazilian, but everyone else will remember that disappeared Malaysian flight the news was covering for weeks without explanation. There were 239 passengers on board. I remember reading that the top 10 grossing films that year were all part of a cinematic universe besides Interstellar and 10th. Oh, and that guy killing a group of sorority girls because he couldn't get laid, and Eric Garner being choked to death by police for selling Lucy's in Staten Island. To close out the year, mainstream media warned America about the Ebola virus that was going to take out the entire country. People bought hazmat suits. In 2015, I actually couldn't remember much from this year, so I googled it, and yeah, pretty much on course with the rest. A satirical French newspaper called Charlie Hebdo was bombed by Islamic terrorists for drawing Muhammad. And you could read the rest. Train crash, death, plane crash, prison escape, murder, shooting. 2016 was a complete meme year. R.I.P. Harambe, Chicago Cubs winning the World Series, President Donald Trump, United Kingdom's Brexit, but it wasn't all memes because literally every celebrity died, a guy claiming ISIS killed 49 gay guys in a nightclub, and 500 were rolled over by a truck on Bastille Day in Paris. Hip-hop became known for ignorance instead of poetry, and Ronaldo had a moth on his face. Canada's immigration site crashed after the American election, and the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead in the finals. It was a weird year, and you probably remember the rest. 2017, a couple terrorist attacks in New York, one at an Ariana Grande concert, whatever. Then the start of the hashtag #MeToo movement, which that summer took down industry giants like Harvey Weinstein and R. Kelly, but the hysteria subsequently hurt innocent people like Louis C.K. and Aziz Ansari. Bloggers were making guap shaming cock. 2018, blah blah blah, Parkland shooting, blah blah blah, our private information is being sold to corporations on a regular basis, blah blah blah, and now 2019 is coming to a close. There's unrest about the future of the environment, random fires in LA and the Amazon forest, but I think we're on the right track. Whew, that was a lot in 3 minutes. Regardless of all the terrorism, shootings, and dead babies, I'm optimistic about the 2020s, and I think you should be too. It's easy to get scared by what's in the news. They need you to be worried so you keep watching. What they don't tell you is right now is the most peaceful time in recorded human history. In medieval Europe, their entertainment was stringing up a ball of cats and lighting them on fire. The crowd would scream laughing. It was so popular, the king would light the match. And let me repeat that so you really understand what I'm talking about. A ball of cats strung up in a net on fire. But it's easy to forget how good we have it right now because nobody's gonna watch the news if it's happy. I saw us start creating our own problems last decade because we had so little to worry about. Those psychos who shot up schools and set off bombs might have been war heroes a couple hundred years ago. They would have went crazy lighting a ball of cats on fire, but they live today where in the Western world there's not much to fight for. We got so bored we gave Michael Jackson 25 to life and he's been dead 10 years. I also saw the rise of sensationalism this past decade. All you needed was one viral meme to start a career. But the tide is starting to turn. We're getting tired of all the bullshit and we're rewarding authenticity. 3-hour podcasts are taking over late night talk shows with cards telling the audience when to clap. I witnessed this firsthand when Mr. Beast started a charity organization to plant trees across the world. $1 donated equals 1 planted tree. But early last year when I was working for him, we were throwing trash on the road and burning box fort mansions for fun. I called him out for not caring about the environment during a big argument, even though I was just as responsible for the pollution, but I like to think that maybe that conversation meant something. When we started my merch line Quality Clothing, we decided to give a percentage of the profits to the Amazon forest restoration and for clean water in Flint, Michigan. It meant a giant pay cut, but my audience applauded me for it, and so did the 2 charities. I felt like a good person for a bit, and then I realized the dilemma. Am I doing this because I'm actually a good person, or am I doing it so that people think that I'm good? Obviously, I'm well aware that charity is really good publicity, just like how Mr. Beast knows that planting 20 million trees is going to be a viral sensation. Fucking Elon Musk donated $1 million. Now I'm tossing and turning in bed and fluffing my pillow, trying to decide if I'm actually worse than the clout chasers because I'm benefiting from charity. Am I worse than the Instagram thoughts? Am I literally Logan Paul? But then I stopped fluffing my pillow and realized something. It doesn't matter. That's how good karma is supposed to work, stupid. Trying to be a good person is all you can ask of anyone. So I'm asking you, let's keep that same energy next decade. Just be a good person in the 2020s.